Yo guys, what's up? It's your boy TRUEDBZ back with another discussion video. In today's video, I will be going over my tier list for the current version of Dragon Ball FighterZ, that being version 1.41. Before we get into today's video, please hit the like and subscribe button at the end of the video if you enjoyed. It does wonders for the channel and helps me stay motivated to create more content like this. Also, be sure to check out my links below in the description or my links to my Twitter and Twitch, my channel artist page bossumans on Twitter and TikTok where he posts his artworks and commissions, and my playlists are there as well to provide you with more of my content. With all of that out of the way, let's get into today's video. Alright, so let's jump into this tier list. So, I believe the last time I did a tier list was about 2 years ago, and I think it was like right before the rollback patch. And that video, it was more similar to Lord Knight's videos when it comes to like his tier list when it comes to Strive, and I really like his methodology of tier lists because it's more than just like, oh, this character is this letter and then this character is this letter. It was a little bit more nuanced, and for this tier list, I've taken it more of a team-based route. So that's what the tier list here is more of a team-based tier list, right? Of course, there might be some discrepancies from like individual character strength, but this is a team game, and so I think it would be much more interesting to talk about the characters and fighters as a team game rather than like individual strength. And so that's what my tier list is. Now, I want to preface this that there might be a little bit of hot takes in here, but you know, I do value your guys' opinions, so if you guys have anything to say about my tier list, please comment them down below so we can have a very nuanced discussion about this. And you know, this is a semi-new format for a tier list like this, and so you know, I definitely can see like where people might get the wrong idea, but I do think that making a tier list based on like team play and like how characters function with the net team does matter for fighters, especially now that a lot of teams are viable. And so I do think there is some method to this tier list madness. So the way I'm going to do this tier list is to keep it from being like 2 hours long, which is what my last tier list video was. Each row, I'm only going to be talking about like maybe 3 to 5 characters each. And outside of the top 10, I might go into detail about each top 10 character, because each character in the top 10 brings something unique to the teams that they're on, and like their individual strengths and weaknesses and stuff like that are rather interesting to talk about. So top 10 might be like I talk about everyone, but all the other rows I'm only going to be talking about like 3 to 4 characters. And if you're wondering about any character that I haven't mentioned in this video, be sure to comment that down below, because you know, I have a lot of thoughts about the characters in this game, but if I'm only going to talk about like 3 to 4 each row, it's not going to paint a full picture of what the game is, but this is just like my perspective on things. And if you have any thoughts, be sure to let me know. Alright, so with all of that out of the way, let's jump into the bottomest tier, which is the need helps tier. Alright, talking about the characters at the bottom, we have Majin Buu and Yamcha. And the reason why I put these two characters at the bottom is that they have lots of issues, to say the least. So for Yamcha, it's just the fact that all the characters in the game just have way better neutral than him. His quality of life changes this time around actually did help him out a lot. In the past couple patches, like a lot of his Wolfang fists are better, his normals got updated, his Ki blasts are better, but in terms of like playing the actual neutral of the game, Yamcha doesn't really have the ignorant stuff, you know, like he doesn't have like a super fast lariat like Bardock, he doesn't have like an oppressive JS like Adult Gohan or anything. Like, he just doesn't have like the ignorant neutral tools to keep up with everyone, even though his Ki blasts are definitely good. Like the intense amount of hit stun it has for like solo conversions is great. His like vanish conversions off of them are also a lot better because of the hit stun, but outside of that, he doesn't really have anything ignorant to throw out in neutral just to get in. And the fact that his EX Wolfang fist is still majorly negative on block and still nowhere near as fast as other lariats in the game, it's just like you can't even use like EX Yamcha lariat in neutral to get in super fast. So it's just like Yamcha just doesn't have the neutral tools. And also just his mix-ups in general, like his level 3 mix-up in the corner is good, but outside of that, he doesn't really have any tools to really mix the opponent. None of his Wolfang fists attack high or low, so he doesn't even have a way of checking people. And then his medium Wolfang fist, the one that side swaps, is still relatively slow when it comes to mix-up options. I believe it's 24 frames now instead of 26 frames like it was before, and 24 is still technically reactable. Technically. You need a lot of conditioning for Yamcha to work, but he is still good on teams that works for him. But he's a very niche pick, and you shouldn't really run him on every team you can. You know, his A assist is good enough to carry, but if you have to actually play him on a team, you're better off just playing him as a point character or as a mid character, because playing him as an anchor now is definitely nowhere near as good as it used to be. And then as for Majin Buu, he kind of has the direct opposite effect, or direct opposite flaws that Yamcha has, where his neutral is really good and his mix-ups are really good, but like he doesn't really have the damage that other characters does, and also his conversions does require a lot of resources, unlike with Yamcha, where he can just Wolfang Fist cancel into his dive kick for like very easy hit confirms, and he also has a sliding knockdown that doesn't cost a meter. And so Majin Buu kind of has the opposite flaws of Yamcha, where he has good neutral, good mix, but he requires a lot of resources, and his hit confirms aren't nearly as good as Yamcha's. But I still rate Majin Buu a little bit higher than Yamcha just because of the neutral and mix-ups. And when Majin Buu really gets going and your opponent doesn't know how to deal with Majin Buu, he is a true menace. But if you know anything about Majin Buu in the slightest, unless the person you're fighting is really good with the character, Majin Buu is not really a threat in comparison to other characters. Alright, next is the team-based row, and here we have Videl, Kid Buu, and Bardock. So the thing about Videl is that she honestly, last patch, I would definitely put her in self-sufficient, if not the highest part of partner-based. But the nerf that she got to Great Saiyaman really did decrease her value, because now she does less damage, and if you even go for the Great Saiyaman Super, now you lose a very crucial neutral tool. So Videl is very team-based now, because in order to take full advantage of her kit, you're going to need a character that takes a lot of part of the screen for the Great Saiyaman Super. But if you just avoid the Great Saiyaman Super altogether, then you are missing out on really good damage, because Great Saiyaman does level up when you hit the counter. So you're kind of like missing out on part of Videl's kit when you don't do Saiyaman. But if you do Saiyaman, you're also losing out on other aspects like her neutral. So it's like Videl, her nerf, I don't think was warranted. I mean, it definitely was annoying getting hit by that super every single match, but I don't know, I feel like that the way that her super works now just decreased her value. But she still is really good at what she's good at. She has good mix-ups, even though a lot of it depends on whether or not you have a high block stun assist or not. So if you don't have that, she's kind of a free 2H. It's kind of a free 2H on her part. But she does have like frame 2 gaps like in her Rekkas to deal with 2Hs. So, you know, she's good, right? She's really good, but like I can't imagine putting her on like a lot of teams that aren't just built around her specifically, and that's why I have her down here. Next is Kid Buu, and Kid Buu still has the same flaws as the previous patch, where his conversions aren't really intuitive. A lot of his normals, though they did get buffed, I will say this, all of his normals got buffed. Less recovery, better frame data, better speed, right? You know, he feels like Season 1 Kid Buu, but like Season 1 Kid Buu is not applicable in this version of the game. So it's like Kid Buu kind of got his old strength back, but it's kind of too late for it now. I feel like they need to do more drastic changes with Kid Buu to make him higher in my list. Like, he still plays like the same Kid Buu we've all known for like ever, right? There hasn't been like a dramatic shift in Kid Buu's gameplay where it's like, okay, now you get this brand new tool to help him out in like certain matchups that he's not good at or just a better quality of life change. But like he's just the same Kid Buu. Like, I don't know what else to say. He needed way more of a dramatic change than just like quality of life, like normal updates. But they were needed, but I don't think they pushed them any higher in my tier list. And then the same thing with Bardock. His combo potential got way higher, so now he can deal similar damage to the rest of the roster, but the fact that he doesn't have a very good level 3 does hurt him a lot. So I definitely wouldn't pick Bardock in every situation if he's anything other than the point character. If he's not your point character, I don't think you should pick Bardock at all, because Bardock is really good with assists and decently good without meter. You know, he is self-sufficient in that way, but I don't think he's self-sufficient in the way that if you're losing out on resources like an assist or without meter without an assist, that he's really threatening or really good. So that's why he's not in self-sufficient, even though like as a point character at the start of the round, he might have like one of the best round starts like in the entire game. But outside of that, I just don't think that Bardock has the tools in terms of like his level 3 not being good, and then also him not getting any changes to his 5S. I think his 5S should be a little better. just for neutral's sake, because like his long range pokes aren't really good at all in this game. So they definitely need to do something about that. So that's why I have him down in team based. Going on to my partner based row, we have Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, Janemba, Nappa, Blue Gogeta, Cell, Super Broly, Piccolo, Master Roshi, and Gotenks. So the first character I'm going to be talking about is Nappa, and you might be confused on why Nappa is this low. And I believe the last time I talked about Nappa, he was actually pretty high on my tier list. Or I think did I do a tier list last patch? I might have. I just didn't record it. But I definitely thought that Nappa was like top 5 in the game at the time. And I don't think that statement was inaccurate, because Nappa's Cyberman and his increase in damage when it comes to like his corner combos did help him out a lot. I just think that this patch really power crept him, because a lot of the characters that were really weak against Nappa got buffed to where Nappa's Cyberman, I don't want to say doesn't affect them, but they have better tools to deal with it. Like UI Goku, I don't think the matchup for UI Goku was in his favor against Nappa, because his projectiles aren't good at dealing with Cybermen, and Nappa has, I would say like more often than not, his anti-reflex are a lot better than UI Goku's. So UI Goku couldn't really get away from Nappa, but like now that his flips are invul, his Ki Blast is better, he has better conversions with 6S, I believe. It's just like UI Goku just has better tools to deal with Nappa, and as well as the other characters that had a trouble of dealing with Nappa. I just think the game, this last patch, got really power crept to the point where a lot of characters has ways of dealing with Nappa and his shenanigans. The next character I'm going to talk about is Blue Gogeta, another character that last patch I would definitely say was in the top 5 category, but I think this last patch really showed that Gogeta Blue really shines when he has a very specific partner in mind. Not to say that he's unplayable with other characters, but I really do think that Gogeta Blue is at his best when he's partnered with 17, or Android 17, and it's like kind of a big gap when it comes to other characters, right? You compare like Gogeta's like viability with 17 compared to any other character in the game, and there's like a huge gap, right? Like if you try to like stick Gogeta with like just like in a 2v2 situation, like if you compare like Gogeta and 17 to like Gogeta and who's like a good mid character like Cell, or like Gogeta and Vegeta, or like Gogeta and like adult Gohan, like there's a serious gap in between like the partnership between Gogeta and 17 and Gogeta and the rest of the roster. And so him being so reliant, in my opinion, on 17's barrier really shows that like I don't think he's that great outside of that. Like he definitely does have degenerate tools like his lariats and 2M, but now that the game has progressed to where every character has a move similar to it, it's not really that impressive anymore. And so that's why I have Gogeta Blue this low, because I feel like in order to get the most value out of Gogeta, he really needs 17. And once again, not to say that he can't work on any other team, because there's definitely other good Blue Gogeta teams without 17. You can just tell there's a major gap in viability and strength when it comes to that partnership in particular. And then the last character I'm going to talk about is Dragon Ball Super Broly, which I know he's always a intense conversation, because a lot of people love this character, and so whenever he gets a lot of buffs, people go crazy and say like, oh my god, Super Broly is going to be broken. And I definitely do think that this patch, he's definitely really good. I just think that the core flaws of Super Broly haven't been fixed, and I don't think they should be fixed, but like all they did is make Broly better at what he was already good at, right? Like in terms of like combos, he was always good at doing combos. He was always good at doing damage. So they just increased his combos and his damage. That didn't really solve anything, right? I believe there was a few frame data changes to like his Ki Blast that made them safe on block. Like that's a good change, but he's still a big character, so he's gonna get clipped in neutral more often than not. And a lot of people don't talk about that when it comes to like the big characters. Like they're more susceptible to getting clipped by like other characters like Gogeta 4 and like other characters like even Nappa, right? Nappa's Cyberman acts independently, and if you have a huge giant model, the Cyberman is going to hit you more times than not than like a Kid Buu character or a Krillin character, right? So like Broly being as big as he is and not really getting buffs to like issues with his gameplay, it's like Broly is just good at what he's good at this point, right? So I don't think his buffs made him any better than what he already was. Like I think they just kind of like doubled down on what he was already good at, which is a good damage dealer and a really good mid character to tag into so you can get that power up, and that's about it. You know, they didn't fix his issues dealing with Reflect. You know, they didn't fix his issues with, like, you know, being more susceptible to different mix-ups and, like, you know, dealing with neutral. Like, his neutral isn't, I don't want to say it's bad, because, like, his JS actually really does help his neutral game, but I definitely don't think it's anywhere near, like, the other characters. But like I said, I know Super Broly is more contentious against the player base because every time he gets buffed, people are like, oh my god, he's broken, but I don't think this patch he's broken. I think he's in a good spot. He's good. He's really good at what he's good at, but outside of that, you know, he definitely needs someone to tag him in, and that's why I have him as a partner base, because he does need someone to build meter for him, to tag him in, and then he can get his gameplay going. But if you're playing him as point, it's a little harder. It's definitely a little harder than that. Going on to the self-sufficient row, we have Goku Black, Android 21 Lab Coat, UI Goku, Hit, Android 16, Blue Goku, Base Goku, Trunks, Z Broly, Tien, Android 18, Adult Gohan, Cooler, Teen Gohan, Kefla, Super Saiyan Vegeta, Base Vegeta, Merge Zamasu, Captain Ginyu, and Frieza. So unlike the other rows, I'm going to be talking about 4 characters in each row of this, I guess, bracket, because talking about 6 characters might be a little much, and I'm already probably hitting the 30-minute mark. So I'm only going to talk about 2 characters from the top row and then 2 characters from the bottom row. And let's start with the 2 characters at the bottom row. So the first character I want to talk about is Adult Gohan, another contentious character because he relies on his level up system. And I just want to say this right now, that at level 7, Gohan is in the top 10. But any other level, he's in self-sufficient. I just want to point that out. I'm not going to say it's impossible to get level 7, but it's definitely, like, not a 100% guarantee you're going to get level 7. I'm just pointing that out there. So yes, Adult Gohan is top 10 material at level 7. Outside of that, I don't think so. But outside of that, I definitely do think that Gohan is self-sufficient on his own. I definitely think he's anchor material, just not a dedicated one. I don't think you should be building teams around Gohan being your anchor, but if it just so happens to happen, like, you know, you just get Happy Birthday and Adult Gohan on his own, then yeah, I think Gohan is self-sufficient on his own to deal with that. I just don't think that you should build teams around that. You know, I just don't think that's what the character is made for, and, you know, he has tools to deal with it, just not, I don't think you should force it. And then the last character at the bottom row I'm going to be talking about is Base Vegeta. He's always been a good, consistent character, but I think his most recent buffs really did help him out. And I actually do think that he is anchor material, because he does have the assist to warrant that. His A assist is really good. His C assist is uniquely good in a good and bad way, because it gives you a lot of hit stun with his C assist, but at the same time, the tracking on it is kind of bad. So unless you're using it in a combo, you're not really going to get a lot of value out of it. And then his B assist is similar to, like, Super Saiyan Vegeta's B assist, where it's, like, good, but, like, nowhere near good as his A assist. So I definitely do think Base Vegeta is anchor worthy, not only because of that, but the change to his 214M, him being able to combo into it basically in any B&B, allowing him to get his level 3 mix-up, or his optimal level 3 mix-up, in any combo, drastically increased his viability. I definitely do think that was a really good positive change for him. And, you know, he's always been really consistent. You know, he doesn't require that much meter to just play the game. Obviously, you want to level 3 as much as possible with him, but it's not like he can't do any mix-up without a level 3, because he does have his 214 series, which is an overhead, and he also keeps his air options afterward, so you can continue his mix-up afterwards. So I definitely do think Base Vegeta can be anchor worthy, and I just think that the other characters above him do that job better. But I definitely do think that he is really good this season, and I might actually build a team around him being the anchor of the team, because I definitely do think that he is self-sufficient enough for that to be viable. Alright, going on to the top row of self-sufficient, the first character I'm going to talk about is Base Goku, who might be the hottest take out of all the hot takes I've had in this video. I think Base Goku might be the best anchor in the game, outside of the anchors that are in top 10. I think he's the best anchor out of any of the characters outside of the top 10. And it's not just the fact that his Kaioken got changed. I think him gaining plus frames on his medium and heavy lariat, while also giving it more invincibility frames, just broke the character. Like, those changes, like, dramatically increased his quality of life. while also the Kamehameha change also did help, but I definitely think the Lariat changes are the ones that convinced me that he has to be good, right? There's just no way you give a character a 4-frame reversal that not only changes where he is, giving it more invincibility because like he's moving out of the way, but also making it plus on block. And if we're talking about the heavy version, he can combo into it no matter where he is on screen. Like that is absurd for an EX move. Like that's near like season 3 Gotenks level of EX specials. Like you guys remember where Gotenks just had like EX punches that scaled like a medium, and so like he just killed you like if it hit you, but also it was also plus on block. Like that's the type of thing we're dealing with base Goku. But like unlike Gotenks, he has invincibility frames on it now. So it's like I don't see a way, or I don't see like any viable reason why base Goku can be any lower than he is, in my opinion. Just because like the thing about base Goku is that he's always wanted to be an anchor character, but he didn't really have the tools to facilitate that. But now I think he finally has all the tools he needs to be a viable anchor, and he just does it so well now. Like I think he's the best anchor in the game outside the top 10. Like it's just like he's just so like, this might be my hottest take in this entire video. Please let me know, base Goku players, if I'm cooking or not. But like I just can't see a world where he has that Lariat, those Kaioken changes, his beam changes, the fact that he has lots of ki blasts, he has an overhead kick now. Like I can't see a world where this character is any lower than this, because like I think he's really good this patch. And then the last character I'm going to talk about in this row is Z Broly, who definitely got a glow up in this patch. A lot of combo changes, but the main thing I want to talk about is his barrier changes. And his barrier now regens meter on activation. Now you might think that's not a big deal, but when you actually really think about it, once again, Z Broly was, I don't think he was meant to be an anchor character, like by design, but I think the community kind of forced him into that role, and so that's kind of what he's been as an anchor. And in previous seasons he did that really well, but when the devs made changes to his frame data and, you know, kind of nerfed some of his combo routes, like he didn't really feel good enough to be an anchor. But like now that like they changed some of his frame data back, his mediums now scale like mediums now, so he can do actual damage now, and his barrier allowing him to passively regen meter is just so good as an anchor character. Because you gotta remember, that stacks on top of the limit break buff to regen meter just passively. So like, and unlike Super Broly, he doesn't have the problems in neutral that I mentioned. So like, he has good neutral, you know, his buttons are still like, you know, the nerfed versions, but at the very least, if you frame trap with Broly with his mediums, he can actually start killing people. He can gain meter passively 2 times, like what any normal character can do. And the fact that his barrier recovers so fast means that he can use it on Oki like 90% of the time. So like if you do level 3, you just do barrier and then you do 5L or 5M to like frame trap and to like set up an anti-reflect or a strike throw situation. On SKD with Dragon Rush, you can do the exact same thing. So like there's really never a reason not to do Broly barrier on Oki, because like he's not gonna high-low you. You don't need excessive amount of hit stun, or not hit stun, Oki time or block stun to do what Broly does. He's a grappler, right? You don't need a lot of block stun to do that. So you just literally just do barrier and strike throw, and like the barrier doesn't go away when you hit a person in a combo. So it's like he just gains so much meter now. It's just like crazy. And you can also run him as a point character. You know, he can be a battery character for characters like Super Broly or Adult Gohan or Gotenks or like Janemba. Like he's good enough to be a point character just because of one little change. And like it's just he got a lot of changes, but I think the barrier changes is clearly what convinced me that he had to be here. Like that change is so good for an anchor character, and I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just broken. It's just broken. Alright, so I think I'm hitting like the 40-minute mark in my recordings. So I'm definitely not going to talk about each character in the top 10, because I feel like a lot of people already know how good these characters are, so I'm just going to stick to my 3 characters per row. Alright, so the first character I'm going to talk about is Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Now this character has had an interesting spot in the meta when it comes to like his release date till now. I think a lot of people like rate him really highly, but none really like, I don't want to say totally grasp it, but like nobody really like mains the character and like really shows what he's capable of. And so we just keep getting like buffs for this character where it's not really needed. So it's just like he just keeps getting buffed because like no one plays him. And Like, I mean that like unironically. I don't think a lot of people play him like outside of net play, and it's kind of crazy to me because he's like always been good. But the reason why I have him in my top 10 is not really any, like, of course, like his buffs. I think it was last patch or the patch before it, where like he got the 5L change, and all of his kicks or his overhead kicks, his 214 series are either 0 or plus on block now. He can use his Ki Blast twice now. Like, you can chain 2 Ki Blasts together. Like, all that's all well and good. Like, we know those are good tools, but I just think that this meta in particularly is good for him, right? We have a lot of characters that really want to rush you down, but also a lot of characters does have a get off me tool, and I think Gogeta's DP is one of the best get off me tools in the entire game. It's a 2-2 DP that hits both sides, that gives you a Dragon Ball. It also works as an Oki tool, where you can end his combos with his DP and still have enough frame data or Oki time to like actually do high-low mix-ups. Like his reversal, his get off me tool, might be like the most broken DP in the game. Like, especially now that they like nerfed Beerus's DP, I think Gogeta 4 might have the best DP in the entire game. Like, it's like when you like think about like all the different DPs in the entire game, like you really think about like, oh god, this move is actually stupid. And like, you know, once again, we all know like the absurd amount of good tools that Gogeta 4 has, and just him having that DP of that power level on this character is just so wild to me. So like, Gogeta 4 isn't a character that I can say a lot about because we already know how good he is, because like he's always played like this for the most part. Like, I don't think they've changed Gogeta 4 like Z Broly, right? You didn't make a fundamental change to where he is like on a tier list or how he's played. Like, he kind of is just the same as he was at launch. It's just like they just gave him a little bit more, but like that little bit more just like pushed him over the edge a little bit. And so I just think he's just a fundamentally sound character. Like, I don't think that you could really like gut this character unless you like really mess up his numbers. Like, he's kind of like Lab Coat 21, right? I think those characters are so fundamentally good like at their baseline that they can't, I don't think they can ever be bad. I don't think they can ever be like a bad character. They just have way too many good stuff in their kit to where like you would have to like dramatically change how the character is played to like really nerf them. And so I just think that Gogeta 4, I just think his place in the meta, just in general, just how the game is played, is just good. So the next character I want to talk about is the #1 himself, Beerus the Destroyer. Honestly, I don't think I have much to talk about Beerus, because if you know, you know why Beerus. I think Beerus is #1, but I guess I'll just go over it. So they changed the durability of his Spheres of Destruction to be that of the same clash level as Z Broly's Ki Blast, meaning that lower tier Ki Blast just can't penetrate it. And the only things that can beat Beerus's orbs now is Super Dash and Beam projectiles, like Goku's Kamehameha. And so I think this breaks the character, honestly. I can't think of a reason why anyone could really think he's any lower than this. I just think he's the de facto best character. Like, when you have someone who can set up projectiles that cannot be clashed against with regular projectiles that 99% of the cast has, he's just a neutral dominant character. Like, I can't see any other scenario where he just isn't. Now, his DP did get nerfed, so now he's actually punishable for doing his DP, but like, if he's in sparking, it doesn't matter. He can spark, if he's in sparking, he can just DP into slam and he's safe. So it's like, I don't know, like, I feel like Beerus is kind of like a no-brainer. Like, I don't know what kind of argument you can have for like any other character being higher than Beerus. I just think he's just too good at what he does. And even in the things that like you might say like are flaws in his kit, like maybe he doesn't have the best jab, right? It's a really small 5L. No, that's about it. Like, his medium buttons are good, his heavy buttons are good, his 5S is good. It's a little too narrow, I guess, but like, it's really freaking fast and can even anti-air people if they're trying to instant air dash at you. I can't really see any flaws in his kit now. And it's like, it was already really hard to deal with Beerus in neutral just because of how fast-paced the game is, and the fact that Beerus can set up was it 6 orbs on the screen at one time. So it's like, he's just like so neutral dominant, and he still keeps all of his mix-ups, right? He still has access to plus frames, he can still high-low you, left, right. He still has like insane strike throw pressure because he can set up the orb right above your head. So technically, he can still grab you because you're not in block stun yet. So it's like, I can't really see any flaws that Beerus has, and anything that might still be there are kind of like negligible. Like, I can't really see a scenario where Beerus isn't the best character in the game. And then the last character I'm going to talk about is going to probably be another hot take, and that is Majin 21 being the second best character in the entire game. I think her buffs this season really pushed her over the edge. I don't think that she's... I think that, like, peak Majin 21 is back, but for different reasons, right? The reason why 21 was so oppressive back in the day during, like, Season 3 was mostly because of her insane neutral and her level 3 mix-up. Well, now, she's insane because her neutral and her steals, which I think that's what the character should be good at. Like, she should be really good with steals, and I feel like the reason why I didn't like Majin 21 previously is just because, like, she was just so basic, right? Any character can have a really good level 3 knockdown, but, like, her steals weren't anything special, right? But now I think Majin 21 is a uniquely top tier character, rather than her just being top tier just because of she just plays Dragon Ball fighters really well. Like, she's uniquely good. Like, all of her steals got majorly buffed this season. They gave her a sliding knockdown with her EX dive, so that allows her to be more consistent with different teams, and she's way more flexible than she was. Like, previously in the previous patch, I definitely would have put her in, like, partner based or even team based, because you really do want characters to help her sliding knockdown a lot of the time, or to tag her into level 3 so she can get her steals. But now, I don't really think that's necessary, because she builds decent meter now, thanks to the JS and 5S changes that they did a couple patches ago, so she can actually build a good amount of meter. Her normals are still just as good as they were before. They helped her neutral by having her 5S chain into itself, so she can get hit confirms full screen now. Like, she's just so good at pretty much everything outside of, like, what, level 3 mix-ups? But, like, you don't even need that, because on her level 3, her Sweet Tooth super, she can choose what steals that she wants. And one of the buffs that she got this patch was to her command grab, on her yellow command grab. Now she could just grab you. Like, you don't have to be in the air, she could just grab you. So what that means is that she now has the ability to strike throw, and I think she might have the best strike throw game in the entire game with her steal. I think it's better than base Goku and Broly. Like, her yellow command grab is a 20 frame grab that she can combo from. Like, I don't know how you get much better strike throw than that. And with also her having really good frame data, so she can keep herself safe. So even if, like, the opponent tries to bait her and, like, maybe like backdash out of, like, the command grab, she could just 3M. She can just 3M or do EX Orb to catch the backdash. Like, she has so many ways of dealing with the counterplay to her strike throw that it's kind of negligible. And then she still has her good normals, so she can still high-low you with, like, a Jiren assist, or, like, like a blue Vegeta assist, or, like, any other high block stun assist. So she still has high-low mix-ups. She has the best strike throw in the entire game. She has all of her absurd, like, neutral tools, that being 5S, 3M, her 236 series. Like, once again, I don't think she has a single flaw in, like, her game plan outside of, like, minor nitpicks, right? She pretty much has everything. She has good combos, she has good neutral, she has good mix-ups, she has good frame data. Like, she's just good. And she's good for a unique reason, like I said before, that being her steals. Like, obviously, she has good Dragon Ball FighterZ tools, but, like, her steals are what pushes her over the top, right? Like, all of her steals combo into each other. Her barrier is still broken. The command grab change I mentioned before. She can now super dash cancel her beams in the solar flare attack. She can super dash cancel them. The Ki Blast volley, she can drag people to the ground, similar to Super Saiyan Vegeta now. Like, all of her steals are just so good, and, like, you can't really ever go wrong with, like, picking whichever one you want, right? Like, there's no de facto, oh, you pick this, right? You can really pick any steal that you want on her level 3, and she can find a way to utilize it to get the kill. So it's like, I just think that she's just a really good character this season, and I would be honestly surprised if anyone argued against it. But I guess, like, in the wide scope, I guess, like, most people would value, like, GT Goku or Baby or SSJ Goku more than 21, I guess. But I just think that what she's uniquely good at just surpasses what the other characters below her has. Like, she's just, like, that uniquely good. And honestly, I might consider playing her because of how uniquely good she is. I might, but that's a discussion for another day. With all that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this tier list. If so, please support the channel by hitting the like and subscribe button. Remember to comment down anything you have to say about my tier list, whether that's negative or positive. Just keep it nuanced and keep it, cordial, because I don't want to see, like, people being like, oh, you put this character in this place, you're just stupid. Like, if you have anything to say about my tier list, just remember to be respectful. This is just my opinion. It's not an objective fact about the game. Anything can change, so just keep it cordial, okay? But also, remember to check out my links in the description, and that's all I have for today's video, so that's it. Have a good evening, everyone, and I will see you guys in the next video. Sayonara!